is Judge Jeanine Pirro on Fox News, who my sense of what they're doing here is they're trying to Tulsi Gabbard Kyrsten Sinema. Kyrsten Sinema leaving the Democratic Party to become an independent. This is really just for her branding, but she'll still caucus with the Democrats, so it doesn't really change anything except for Sinema's prospects in 2024 when she's up for re-election. But here's Pirro speaking about this move from Sinema and how naturally it's the fault of the left.
The Republican side?
You know, I think it depends. I think that what we're seeing with the Democratic Party is what the essence of the party is, and that is that they are totalitarian. If you decide, that you're gonna be an independent, and even if you're gonna vote with us 96% of the time, we're gonna tear you up, we're gonna primary you, we're gonna try to make sure that you lose. And that's the difference. I mean, if you don't buy into what they're doing, then you shouldn't be a senator at all. And that's what I think people should be concerned about. I think let me just finish.
Yes,
I think she's a very strong woman. I think she's a very respectable woman. I saw what she went through when she was chased into bathrooms, when she was chased in and out of buildings. I mean, that is a woman who is made of steel. And if I were to vote for someone, she is the kind of candidate, I don't care if you're male or female, that I would vote for, because she does have a moral core. She does stand for what she believes in. She's not one of these people who go to Washington and one hand washes the other. I'm on this team. That's it. I'm going to cheerlead for this team. She's like, I have people in Arizona that I have to worry about. There are towns in Arizona that are being overrun.
All right, pause it for a sec.
The federal government. I haven't heard a Democrat talk about.
Okay, so she's now claiming that she wants somebody in Congress who is not beholden to the two-party system, or could it be Jeanine Pirro, who seems to be struggling to speak a little bit there, and they're all laughing at her, which makes me feel like they know something that we might not have firsthand knowledge of and won't speculate on.
I have another clip that I'd like to play after this,
yeah,
just to give you some context on what's going on in the 5 studio.
She has a good time in the afternoons, but like they don't necessarily. She doesn't want somebody who's independent, not beholden to either party. What they like is that they know that she might, and she had been wearing a blue hat for the majority of her time in the Senate, and yet benefited the Republican Party. Yeah. That's why she likes it. She's a woman who stands up for what she believes in. Yeah, what she believes in is carrying water for the Chamber of Commerce. There's not a senator in the Democratic caucus that does more for the Chamber of Commerce than Kyrsten Sinema. And that's why she, like a girl boss who stands up for what she believes in, went like this when we were trying to raise the minimum wage. Wow, what a maverick. I mean, if it was down to Sinema versus a Republican, we know what Jeanine Pirro would do there in terms of who she's voting for. But it's always the fault of the left. It's the left's fault that she didn't support the minimum wage increase. It's the left's fault that they were trying to expand the child tax credit, and Sinema was instrumental in killing that. It's the left's fault for being so aggressive. It's always the left's fault. It's never her fault when she takes meetings with trade groups, business groups. Chamber of Commerce literally just does their bidding. It's not her fault. She's the maverick. It's always the Democratic Party. And then we pretend that independent thinkers are what we're looking for. But here we go.
Oh, but today is National. I'm going to cheerlead for this team. She's like, I have people in Arizona that I have to worry about. There are towns in Arizona that are being overrun. The federal government. I haven't heard a Democrat talk about the failure of the federal government in 30 years. All right. And she's talking about it. I mean, she is, as far as I'm concerned, a very I think she's a very inspiring woman.
Imagine if someone chased the judge into the bathroom.
I'd chase them out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I look forward to Sinema's turn, her Tulsi turn.
Here's the thing, like, this is something, and Carl Baer wrote about this too on his Substack. This sort of conundrum that I guess we face, where if you run somebody against Sinema, then you might throw the election to a Republican. Do it.
Yeah.
And then beat the Republican the next time. This dumb game where like Utah Republicans like, let's support Evan McMullen. You waste, like, not only do you lose, you don't build anything and put yourself in a worse situation for next time. So this should be an opportunity for, even if for some, like, Sinema only pulls from Democrats, you got to make the distinction clear in Arizona. And I don't really trust the Democratic Party to do that, but I hope if there's anybody active in Arizona listening to us, and you need our support and want to leak stuff about, the curmudgeons at the top of the party that maybe want to play it safe and endorse independent cinema or something like that, we will. You can leak anything to us and we'll propagandize for it because it's a big problem.
I'll be real though. I think that this was an act of self-preservation on her part because she sees the writing on the wall for her in Arizona. I mean, they've been mounting a primary challenge against her ever since the downvote thing. I mean, the left, she's notorious that she doesn't take anyone's call. That's what is so ironic about what Jeanine Pirro is saying there is that, she's responsive to people who in Arizona who are hurting. She is notorious for not taking calls from activist groups, literally her constituents, and ignoring them. Yeah. More than normal. And so there has been this growing swell from not just within leftist circles, but within the Democratic Party, where they're like, this woman sucks. And we know she got into power. She's serving the Chamber of Commerce. Now she can have her brand. She'll be an independent. Hopefully she leaves the Senate in 2024. And then, she'll be able to have her own like personal political brand and launder it into some sort of like 7-figure contract as a lobbyist or as somebody working in corporate America.
Can we just look a little bit more at what was going on in the Five during this particular
Perhaps.
episode?
Yes. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Apparently, this is the most watched cable news show on cable
during this time slot, or I thought it was. I mean,
might be daytime because I think
Tucker's nighttime. Wow.
So going to a break.
We're in great shape.
Going to a break here. Let's see what Judge Jeanine has going on.
Oh boy.
Oh, but today is National Gingerbread Day. So I went to my favorite place. Yes, Uncle Giuseppe's. Uncle Giuseppe's. That's where I went. You see this gingerbread house? You can make your own gingerbread house. All you have to do is you can buy, focus on me, guys. All you have to do is buy an individual gingerbread house. Got it? All right, they have all kinds of chocolate. Uncle Giuseppe's is the best, and they are available. Uncle Giuseppe's, my favorite sweet treat. What is it? It's a Judge Jeanine apple with peppermint patties that like a cool breeze blows my hair. Oh, I get so excited. Dana, you're next.
Okay, well, thank you, Uncle Giuseppe and the judge. I love it. I got a little friend.
Oh,
all right, so they know what's going on
idea
here.
what happened.
Yeah, well.
How many of those words do you think were combined together at one point?
Look, I mean, I'll say it. Of all of the Fox News personalities, if we were to do a draft of who I'd want to get drunk with, she's up there. She's up there.
Especially in that group.
I could have fun with her.
That's a tough draft, I gotta say. You don't want to pick fourth.
I mean, this is why it's an engaging mental exercise, Matt, right? We engage with the tough questions here at the Majority
Stuart Varney.
Oof. Majority Report wardrobe coordinator Judge Jeanine is changing the name of her show to "Hey, let me tell you something." Two kids in a trench coat. The flaw is that if you run a Dem against Sinema in the Republicans' win logic is that Sinema is hated by Arizona Dems. If you have her and the Republican is the only candidate, the Dem turnout will be so low the Republican will win.
Let the Republican win is what I'm saying.
Well, right, as opposed to
sitting it out and letting Sinema win. Stop doing that. Like, take the loss and beat the Republican the next time. I know it's a Senate seat, but this idea, like, no, you need to run a candidate that actually represents what you stop trying to.
No. They were bolstering your point. Oh. They were essentially saying that she's hated by Arizona Democrats. So if you actually, for the Democratic Party's purposes, there's a hole in the logic because her being the Democratic candidate would cause those Democrats to stay home. So we should primary her and elect somebody else.
Right.
They were backing up our argument.
I guess, yeah. I mean, but the thing they said about it leading to the Republican winning, I guess
If you have her and the Republican is the only candidates, the Dem turnout will be so low the Republican would win.
But we're not really in that state of affairs. Like, she's
No.
not going to run as a Democrat. She's going to run as an independent. So the question is, do you run a Democrat in addition to the independent and the Republican? And I say yes, even if that likely throws it to the Republican, because I don't think there's a difference. I'm not willing to.
I don't think she runs, but
that would be even better.
I think if she's forced out of the Democratic primary, you know, she gets to maintain her independent brand and then goes to corporate America. That's my sense.
It also
Well, there you
it also would bring up a particularly, I think, thorny situation for the Democratic Senate campaign committee. For example, if, as people are predicting, Ruben Gallego announces a challenge to Sinema, and do they go with the incumbent, who is an independent who will probably caucus with the Democrats, or an actual Democrat who would be a significantly
Should not be a question to me.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
It shouldn't be,
It's a
but
question. It's a severe problem.
But
Yes.
the issue, I just feel like with how cautious they are. I mean this
or how they protect incumbents.
yeah, the Congressional Black Caucus will endorse white incumbents over black progressive black challengers. They endorsed Elliot Engel over Jamal Bowman. Like, I'm just thinking in terms of how conservative these committees or these caucuses are in terms of actual endorsements, that they might just be like, well, she is an incumbent.
I mean, the one saving grace maybe is that it seems like, Schumer might be like more likely to protect Manchin than Sinema, because at least Manchin talks to him.
I was gonna say he actually
They have a relationship.
He plays ball even
Yeah.
if it's annoying. Like, they actually do like negotiate.
No one knows what the fuck is going on.
Oh yeah, and she's also just like she's just like irritating.
Yeah.
I mean, not that Manchin isn't, but I just think that's part of her aesthetic. The fuck you earrings being namely what I'm referring to.
Exactly.